Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Back here with another update on the Ecto-1A Fantasy. And I'm going to try to do a little bit more frequent updates on this, so that way you guys can follow along a little bit closer. I didn't really get the whole gunner seat area filmed very well, just because I was doing so much changing and trying to figure everything out, and now I'm kind of to the point where I know what works and I know where parts need to go. So basically, we're just gonna do a little bit more in-depth as I build this up and show you guys everything that I have going on here from the ground up. You guys can see from the Ecto-1A mock, that's how the kind of the floor is in the mock. You guys can see the tiled area here for where the jump seats are, and then kind of the more area that gets built up. Now I am much different from that. We have this tiled area which shows where the gunner seat travels back and forth on its little mechanism that I made for it. Pretty much everything from this 1x12 piece back here forward is per the mock, and then everything including this 1x12 piece back here back is different. Some stuff that is still kind of built per the mock is this whole area right here, still utilizing pieces clear down into here, but by here I've started to change a lot of stuff, and you guys feel free to pause and just see what plates I'm using. Oops. You guys can clearly see what plates I have here and what tiles I'm using. I am using 1x4 modified bricks, 3 of them, to get this 1x12 area filled, and all those nubs on there, all the studs, they help track the seat. So there's a reason I'm using those there. And then this little area here is my little holder that I kind of came up with to help hold the seat, or hold this piece from flopping around too much when it's sitting in here, because I didn't want a bunch of like up and down play. So this is what I came up with. This was like the 3rd rendition of this, and this is the one that I'm using currently on the other 2 cars. It consists of 2 modified plates, the bottom ups, as I like to call these ones, because they hook at the bottom and then they shoot up. There's a 1x4 tile that caps those off. I'm using the older style modified brick. You guys can kind of see it in there. I'm using 4 of those. Let me grab and find one. So in there I'm using the dark gray ones, but here you guys can see what piece I'm using. It's the old school one that has the pass-through on the back, the 2 square openings with the little ledge on the bottom. So I'm using 4 of those in dark gray. And you guys can see they're kind of standing in an upright position there. And you can see there's 4 individual ones there. I have those all held together with a combination of 3 1x4 plates. You guys can see I have them on the front, on the bottom, and on the back. And then on the tops is where I attached those modified plates there. And when all this is put together, it lays down like this. This bottom 1x4 plugs into here. And you can see why I've tiled that off on both sides. So that way, once that's down in there, it sits. I have this kind of clearance around here because the back side of this is kind of in no man's land as far as like being able to connect it to anything. Because everything is kind of normal brick build up from there. So it's basically just building around it and then being able to plate or tile across the top. I am going to be using another one of these kind of tracked bricks that have that little track indention in the side. I like these because they have kind of that webbing detail in there, the little molded supports. And I did these on the other cars, not at first, but this was a kind of a later update to add some detail. That piece sits right there, and then once I have all this built up, then you can look in there and kind of see that detail in there. Something I've changed from how I did the other two cars was originally I had a 1x4 tile, or a 1x8 tile, sorry, down in this area. And kind of looking at it, I didn't really like how that looked. And I wanted a little bit of that inner trim on the inside of the door. So I opted to pull that out, use a 1x3 tile right there, and then use a couple gray 1x3 and 1x2 plates to kind of fill that in. And then that will actually have these tiles, and I'm just going to put them on there right now. I'll build this up a little bit so that way you guys can kind of follow along a little bit closer. Put those there, and then when you put the 1x8 on this side, put that in place. So that basically gives me my stop for this piece here. The slide that actually holds the seat. That's my dead stop right there. You guys can see how the back of that spring cylinder protrudes out a little bit, but that's okay. Because as I showed on the other two cars, this clears the door and the door detail, so that's really nice. But I needed to get that in as far as possible without interrupting anything. And then this little detail right here, plug that in right there. That gives me a nice 1x4 space right there. So here is another modified 1x4 brick that has the studs on the sides. I'm capping that off with a 1x4 tile, you guys can see there. That pops into place like that. And now that little nub, that little 1x1 circular tile, that slides right in there, and that actually holds it really nice. And then that right there gives me my dead stop of how far out the seat can go. The seat doesn't come out quite as far as I would like it to, but just with keeping this from getting too flimsy and out too far, I kind of met in that middle ground there. You guys kind of saw in my videos of the Frozen Empire version and the Afterlife version, I did a lot of changing and a lot of figuring out to get all that to work. So I'm basically just using my final design that I ended up using. Not much has changed at all, really, if anything. Just some of the little bit more details, like adding that trim back there. I wanted that back. And then you guys can see this piece here. Now, that tile, nothing contacts that tile. I basically just have that there for helping to hold those two pieces together, and it clears. If I were to use a like a plate with studs on it, I'd be worried about it hitting. So there you guys can see, even all the way out, I am still holding about just over half a brick worth of holding on that, and it doesn't sag at that point, which is really nice. That slides all the way back in. You guys can kind of see how that works a little bit better now, of how I kind of came up with the design on that. Kind of my, that's going to be hard to show, kind of my clearance path in there. and then I will come back with a brick and kind of brick build this all up. And then once there's a solid brick here, and I can even show you with a 1x4. I won't be using a 1x4 there, but that helps hold the seat tight. So between this plate and these studs that are offset enough to where they're not wanting to catch and plug in to the back side of this, because you can see it's just all it is the bottom of a plate. That's all the back side of that is. But these studs on these pieces are down far enough to where they don't catch, and everything glides really nice and smooth, and it locks into place. And the feel on this is really nice. It slides out really nice. I have a little bit of up play, but I have no down play, so there's no sagging, so the seat's not like looking silly sagging down at all. And once this all gets kind of built up a little bit more and plated over, that gets a little bit stronger. But as far as like just sliding in and out, that's kind of how I came up in the end on how all that's going to work. And it works really nice. Everything slides super nice like that. And this part's trapped in there really nice. But like I said, I will kind of do some different bricking to fill that in. I have these pieces that are per the mock that kind of fill in back here. That's basically still per the mock. I haven't changed anything in that area. Just make sure those are straight. So that there shows you guys how I kind of came up with that whole slide system. How I just kind of filled in with some plating to get the floor all one level in this area, and how I'm holding this. And like I said, it slides in there really nice. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. Everything slides in really nice. I can come all the way out to here. That's my dead, like I said, that piece of trim right there, that tile, that's my dead stop. That can't go back any further. And then I'm using this 1x1 tile right here as my dead stop once it hits right there. So then the seat can't go out any further than that. So I have really nice dead stops on both front and back to where the seat can't just go flying out or be too far one way or the other. So hopefully that's helping you guys. Like I said, I'm going to try to do, it's probably going to wind up being more updates just in trying to show you guys how I built everything from the ground up here. And at any time, pause the video if you need to see what I used for studs or for tiles or for plates. Just pause the video. I'm not going to go through and explain every single little piece, because those are just going to be super long videos if I do that. But like for some of these more unique little sub builds that I have put in there, you might need to pause that. But stuff like this is just stuff that I really had to play around with to see what worked for making that fit in there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully it helps you if you want to do the same thing. I am still just using the I'm using Lynn's mock of the 1A. So we're still just building straight off of the mock from the 1A, and then of course including my own changes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and until next time, take care.